Yeah, so that's that's very it's very important to learn about. You gotta take losses sometimes, but that don't mean that the Lord is finished with you. That don't mean that 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 you're not in the truth no more. It doesn't mean just because you take a loss that the Lord's like, all right, the Lord is saying, okay, He's done with that individual. No, okay, it's there's lessons, okay, there's lessons to be learned, all right, and the Lord is building up His elect, all right. So that's something you have to really keep in mind, all right, because the Lord is not only is He building you up, but He's teaching you. You're learning a lesson from that. Okay, patience. Okay, you have to learn that. Okay, that's something that this world doesn't. This what something that the Lord doesn't. That this world doesn't understand. Okay, and you can see that right now with these. You can see that right now with something that is you know uh, that is going on right now, that people's SNAP benefits are failing. Okay, and you see how they're bugging out. But why? Because they're trusting in the shadow of Egypt. Okay, they really they're going to America and these leaders for help. They're going to Esau for help. Okay, that's no good. It's no good, man. So this is something that the hopeful elect out there, that you got to understand. All right, so the Lord is building you up. Okay, He's conditioning you. All right, that's very, very important. Okay, right here, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1 on down. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. Right. So this is what's happening right now. All right. So the hopeful elect are standing up. Okay, before our enemies. You see, and our enemies they're petrified. Okay, why? Because the children of Israel are waking back up. See, the Lord is chopping down all these Esau's lies and these heathens' lies. And what's chopping them down? The word. Okay, chopping down all their lies. You see? All right. So just the fact that the elect are waking back up. The Lord is getting them in order right before our enemies' eyes. You see? All right, because right now we're behind enemy lines. Because we're in our enemy's land. This is right now. These Edomites and heathens, they're ruling. You see? All right, yeah, this is our planet, but right now the heathen are temporarily ruling. You see? So this is something that is very, very important. Okay, for you guys to know out there, is that remember that when these tests are going out, it's not always just Satan and just because that the Lord's mad at you. It's that these are tests, because you gotta learn patience. Okay, there's lessons, to be learned. All right, and also you have to learn to take losses. It's like that. All right, so that's not necessarily, a bad thing, or that something happens to you. Don't think it's strange, that maybe it's just because I'm messing up. Well, that's why you always want to examine yourself. daily. You know, that's daily. You want to examine yourself, you know, always. But, you know, it doesn't mean just because you lost something that, you know, you're just, you know, that you're through, you know, or that the Lord's upset with you. All right, these are tests and lessons to be learned. See? Verse 2. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. All right, so here we go. All right, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. All right, who? Our enemies. Okay, because they're right now. All right, they're seeing the ships, the chariots of Israel. They're seeing the nation of Israel, the elect. You know, turning back to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. See, the Lord is getting his elect in order right before our enemies' eyes. You know, because remember, we're still in slavery. See, but the elect are coming out of that. You know, the elect are walking miracles. Remember that. All right, remember that. You know, just because the heathens and Edomites talk trash, you know, and all this, remember, they're frightened. Okay, because they know as soon as the children of Israel wake back up, that there's nothing that they can do. All right. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, because they know. All right, because these elites around the world know that, you know, they know that, you know, that by us, you know, waking back up, you know, Lord willing, I'm part of the hopeful elect. Okay, Lord willing, you know, this is what, you know, this is what the our enemies are afraid of. Okay, and they're seeing that. All right, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. So somebody's about to be saved out here. Who is that? The elect. So once again, you know, our enemies are not just gonna kill off everybody. You know, hell with Esau. You know, fuck Esau. Hey, fuck Esau. Okay, he's not. Let him roll. You know, our enemies get mad and, you know, let him roll. Let him roll, so we can laugh at his bitch ass. All right, facts. You know, you guys gotta trust in the Lord. All right, stop, you know, giving our enemies so much credit. You know, Esau wants to roll, let him roll. Okay, we've been waiting. You know, facts. Remember that. All right, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so beyond all they look for. Right, because who is gonna be with the elect? Yahweh Shai and the angels. All right, in those ships. See, you know, because it's way beyond this world. Because this world, all right, the last thing on their minds is, you know, the last thing that they think is, oh yeah, you know, a so-called black man is gonna come in a spaceship with millions of angels, you know, that also look like so-called black men. See, you know. You think that's what these copper tops, you know, heathens? No, that's the last thing they're thinking about. You know, and they don't believe that. You know, so when they see it, it's gonna be way beyond. Like, nah, like this is over the top. You know. Remember, you know, to the children of Israel out there, of the hopeful elect. Remember, we came over here in slave ships, all right, but we're leaving in spaceships. Remember. All right, the Lord is going to be with his hopeful elect. Verse 3, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom he had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. See, so this is why, you know, this is why the heathens are going to be, you know. This is why right now they're mad, because they're like, who, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans? They're the children of Israel. They're like, nah, anybody but them. It can't be, you know. Because remember, our enemies are hating right now. They're jealous, but so what? Remember, no one can take that away from you guys. You guys are the saints. Okay, you guys are the Israelites. Remember that. So the saints. Okay, let's get one thing straight. Saints, that don't mean that, oh yeah, that person's you know, like a good person. Saints means the Israelites. Okay, so the Edomites and heathens, they can't be saints. Okay, it doesn't matter if they're a good person, because this world says, oh, that person's a saint. No, because that person's like good. Doesn't do anything bad. No. Okay, that word saint. Okay, that's referred to us, the Israelites. Only the Israelites can be saints. Okay, let's say if there's an Israelite like a 2/3, he's still a saint. Okay, saint just means that the Israelites. Yeah, he's a 2/3 or she's a 2/3. They're not gonna make it, but that's still a saint. Okay, a saint is the Israelites. All right, but Esau got everybody's mind all screwed up. Say, but that's all right. That's why the prophets are here to fix that, to make that adjustment. You see? All right. Verse 3. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5 verse 3. And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves. Okay, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. See? So yeah, so this is why these heathens, the last thing they're going to be expecting is a so-called black, Latino, Native American to get beamed up into the spaceships. See, because right now the heathens are raging, because they're like, who, them? Jose? Roberto? Yeah. This is why our enemies, they're like, nah, like, they're the children of Israel? No way, because they hate us, but that's all right. All right, let's continue. We fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. Right, because the last thing on these heathens' mind is that we are the children of Israel. So remember, it don't matter, what people think. We are the Hebrew Israelites. No one can take that away from you guys. Remember that, See? These heathens are so retarded that, you got the Edomites and Ishmael, okay, the Ishmaelites fighting over our land. They're fighting over land that's not even theirs. You telling me these dudes are not retarded? See? They're fighting over there in Israel for a land that's not even theirs. Okay, that's not even theirs. You see? All right? Yeah. Verse 5, check it out. How is he numbered among the children of the Most High? See, because these heathens are saying, man, how, how can they be, how? See, because they see that Jake don't have nothing out here, See, because like, man, they're at the bottom, like, no way, like, they're the children of Israel? Yeah. See? So that's why our enemies are talking trash right now, but that's okay. Remember that. That's okay. That's completely fine. Remember, because nobody can take that away from you guys. All right? Because we are the Israelites. Remember that. And his lot is among the saints. The saints. There it is. Okay? Because we are the Israelites. Okay? We are the saints. See? It don't matter what our enemies say, what they think. We are Hebrews. We are Hebrew Israelites. See? And no one can take that away. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna end it right there. I can still go more into that, but I'll save that for another day. All right, so I believe I made that point. All right, on you gotta take losses, but that don't mean that that you're not part of the hopeful elect. That don't mean that the Lord is upset with you. Okay, remember that there's lessons to be learned out here. Okay, and you have to learn how to take losses. Because in this time that we're entering, you have to learn to go without and keep on enduring. Can you go without, lose a job, lose a car, go without any money, and still be a brother, still be a sister, still push your videos, no matter what? See? Are you still walking in your integrity? You see? All right. Or are you over here being like Lot's wife, just cursing out the Lord and saying, oh, it's Satan, and oh, this and that. I already knew it. See. So that is your trial, because the hopeful elect, no matter what they go through, they're gonna make the adjustments. They're gonna rely on the Lord. Okay, and it's it's not always easy, for out there, Akim Akwat, to lose a job or lose a car, but so the Lord is doing that to build you up. There's lessons to be learned. All right, and thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. All right, at the end of the day, because you see how these 2/3 act. Okay, right away, their SNAP benefits don't work. They start crying. How am I going to feed my family? How am I going to feed my kids? All right. See, well, these people don't believe on the Lord. See, the elect right away. The elect are going to rely on the Lord. Say, well, hey, the Lord don't want me to have this benefit or this job. We're moving on. Okay, but we're going to keep it pushing. We're going to keep pushing these videos. We're going to keep thanking the Lord and praising the Lord. Like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, where they all bent out of shape because Nebuchadnezzar threw them in that fire. Where they're like, oh man, they start talking trash, and oh, I already knew it, damn, they're about to throw me in the fire, throw us in the fire. No, they trust in the Lord all the way to the end. So the elect are gonna be, keep it solid all the way to the end, all the way to the end, all the way to the end. You see? All right. So that's something that is, very, very important. All right, because you're gonna take losses. You may get apprehended. All right. So the Lord is conditioning you. So for that day, when that day approaches, okay, you guys are gonna be confident. All right, because you're gonna know and you're gonna understand. All right, that the Lord is that He's all we got. Okay, and by these trials and tests, okay, you're just gonna you're gonna have that faith built up in you. Like, well, fuck it, excuse my Italian, I'm just gonna trust in the Lord. All right, because you see how Esau, is treating his own people, his own citizens. You see how Esau's treating his own military, see, but woe unto you guys that are trusting in Esau, so that's why the Lord is he's conditioning you guys out there, is to make you better, okay, it's to make you cleave unto the Lord. See, because you got to realize out there that without the Lord, we ain't nothing. We're nothing. And so the Lord just really wants to put that inside your head. That hey, we really need the Lord out here. All right, and He's out here. Okay, the Lord, His Spirit. Okay, He's out here dealing with His elect. All right, 100%. Remember that the elect, you guys are heavily guarded, and you're not alone. All right, so with that, keep the faith, and remember, you have to learn how to take losses. But carry yourself a certain way, not just all. And you see how the people in this world act. All right, just hold it down out there, Akim Aqua. There's lessons to be learned, and the Lord is His eyes are on you. Okay, He's building you up. So with that, on your feet, soldier. Shalom.